Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev. We always like to begin with gratitude. So thank you, and you for being here. Whether you're watching us live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or you're watching us on your listening to this on your favorite podcast platform at a later date, thank you. You are appreciated. Special thanks to those of you that have already clicked the subscribe and the notification button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need you. That's how we grow this platform. That's how we bring you more incredible content. So if you haven't done it already, please click the subscribe and notification button. And I'd be remiss if I begin the podcast without thanking our sponsor, B-File Systems. B-File Systems. For all of you business people out there that are looking for ways to automate your business, to get in touch with your customers, and to scale your business with more retention, check out B-File Systems and thank me later. Okay, I'm always excited with every guest that I bring in front of you for the podcast. Today, I'm even more excited because today, not only am I bringing you a star, literally she's a star, and her name is Star. Let me tell you about my guest today. Star has many years experience in Hollywood, stage and screen, but that's not all. Star is also an attorney, but that's not all. Star is also an established public speaker who has shared the stage with one of my favorite speakers, maybe the greatest speaker of all time, none other than Les Brown, and she is also the common ground that we share. She is a certified AI consultant, and she is helping people like me and you, if you're walking down this AI lane as you should be, get better in this capacity. So without any further delay or ado, let me introduce to some and present to others Miss Star Badaboon. I probably said your Babatoon. I knew I messed it up. I knew I did. Star clean me up and help a brother out. Please introduce yourself to the people and tell them what I missed. I want to say native New Yorker as well.
Hey there, Kev. Yes, I am a native New Yorker, and the name is Star Babatoon, public speaking and presentation coach. And you messed up my name, but it was like bada boom, and I can't be mad at bada boom.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Star, tell the people in your own words, your background. Tell them what I missed. I can never do justice to someone like you with all the accolades. So take your time and tell the people who you are and who we're honored to have as our guest today.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Well, see, you were right. I started out my life on the stage as an actress. I did stage plays. I did movies, after school specials. Anybody remember the ABC after school specials?
Of course.
Way back in the day. Well, I did a bunch of those, and I absolutely love it. Kev, I loved being in the spotlight, being on stage. And then when I turned 16 years old, I had the opportunity to audition for the lead role in a major television show. Now, this is back when we had 3 channels. You remember ABC,
I know.
NBC? Yeah, okay, back then. So it was a big deal. And the even bigger deal was that they had already given the role to Janet Jackson. That one. The other ones. They had already given the role to Janet Jackson, but then I auditioned and they gave the role to me. So
you better say that.
That's right, brother. That's right. So I get to say for the rest of my life that I beat Janet Jackson out for the lead role in a TV show. You hear what I'm saying? You hear me?
You better put some heart emojis and some clap emojis right there. That is not an easy thing to do. But Star, go ahead with your bad self. Tell the people more. The story gets better, I'm sure.
It does. It does. So I get to beat out Janet Jackson. I always like to say, you see what that did to her career. Not important. Not important. So this was like, This should have been the rocket fuel for my life, for my career. But I got to tell you, during this time, there was a lot of tension and maybe even hostility in my inner circle. So much so that I felt unloved, hated, and all I wanted was for it to stop. So in my naivety, in my childhood mind, my 18-year-old brain said the best way to make the people around me happy is to step out of the spotlight. So at 18 years old, that's it. I decided I was never going to be on a stage again. I was never going to stand in the spotlight. Here's what I did. I took my gift, my love, and I put it in a box. I dimmed my light. I muted my voice in order to make other people happy, in order to make them feel better. And I wonder if anyone in the audience has ever experienced that. You know how it is.
Who
You
can
show up.
relate?
Yes, you show up just a little bit differently, right? You
Yes,
do, you know, you don't say exactly what you mean because you're just trying to keep the peace. Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Just trying to keep the peace. So that's what I did. And you know what? I went on and I had a good life. I got married, I had kids. I became an attorney. You know, I'm living the life. I am living a good life.
Okay.
But even with all of that, it just felt like something was off, you know, like 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 something was wrong, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I would drive home from my very nice job, from my very nice office in my very nice car, and I would grip the steering wheel and put a smile on my face and just tell myself I had so much to be grateful for.
Yes,
Yet and still something wasn't right. You know how it is, Kev, when nothing is wrong, right? Nothing is wrong,
yes, yes.
but
That's the story.
something's not right. But I
My
wasn't willing
goodness.
to do anything about it because, you know, we got kids in private school, we got vacation cars, houses, you know, I'm
Yes,
doing
all
the
the stuff.
thing. Exactly, exactly. And then what is it? I think our friend Les Brown says, when you are too afraid to make a move in your life, life will move on you. I like to think
Oh
God
my
will
goodness.
just
Oh
do
my
something.
goodness.
God tries to send you a warning. Hey, hey, but if you're not going to listen, everything in my life fell apart.
My
Marriage
goodness.
fell apart. Job went away. My father died.
Mm,
So all of the anchors in my life were gone. And without
yes.
those anchors, I felt untethered, is what I
Of
felt.
course. Not tied, not connected to anything at all. I do understand. Continue.
Exactly, exactly. And here's the thing, Kev, you got to be real careful about who you hang out with when you're in a
Mhm.
bad place. You got to be
Yes.
careful because there are some people, they're glad you're there. They're glad you're in a bad place. You know, that's what you
Yes.
get for thinking so highly of yourself in the first place.
Yes.
But the kind of friend I had, she was like, you need to go to this motivational seminar. I'm like, what? I don't want to. No, I'm not. Not interested. No, thank you. Having a pity party, and I am the star. So why would I
Yes.
go?
No.
I went to this place, and I'm sitting in the audience, right? And I'm seeing all these amazing people go across the stage, and it like dawned on me that I used to be on the stage. It dawned on
Yes.
me how much I enjoyed being on the stage.
Yes.
And that's when I decided to come back to the stage, this time as a speaker and a trainer. But I got to tell you this little thing. You know, when I was looking at that stage, I got to admit, nobody looked like me,
Okay.
right? You got Jack Canfield, you got uh Brian Tracy, you know, you got
Oh,
all
the
the major dudes up
yes,
there,
the
but you know,
major best authors, 1 Minute Manager, Brian Tracy, all the sales book. Love them both.
yep,
Chicken
yep,
Soup for the
yep,
Soul.
right.
That's Jack Canfield.
All the people are up there, but they don't look like me and they don't have my
Mhm.
personality. So I'm like, is there room for someone like me? Lo and behold, Les Brown comes to the stage. What? Les
Yes.
Brown comes to
Yes.
the stage, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I want to be when I grow up. So I
Yes.
ended up training with Les Brown. I traveled with him. I spoke with him on international spaces, uh, and I ran his speaker trainer program for 3 years,
Wow.
the Platinum Speakers. I went on to become the #1 trainer in a national training company. I was vice president of programs and yet another training program. And along the way, people start asking, hey, Star, I want to do what you do. So I
Yes.
started my own coaching company, Own Your Stage, where I work with the experts. I call them invisible experts. The experts who are brilliant at what they do, but they
Yes.
know that they need to communicate that value with more clarity and more confidence in order to open up doors. There you have it.
That is quite an introduction. You gave me so much juice. I'm gonna put my phone and notes away. We just gonna talk. You gave me enough to build on from there. Everything that you said, I think is so relatable. So many of us, instead of rising to the level where we're supposed to be, we dummy down and we meet people where they're at, not to make them comfortable. But thank God you realized it. And thank God for your friend that invited you to that stage, not to see Brian Tracy, not to see Jack Canfield, not to see but to see you, but to see,
Oh,
but to see you, but to see
that's
you and to
beautiful.
find yourself where I left you, where I find you. Where do we go from here? So talk to me. I'm going to try to go sequential, but this is hard, audience. This is my chest is full, my heart is full with topics that I want to talk about, and I'm thinking about in order. Let's start in reverse. You found your story and you turn your point of pain and you've pivoted to help people find their stage. We're going to end there. We're not going to go there first. Let's talk about that pain point because you didn't go to that presentation and next week you were speaking. Tell me about that painful middle. Tell me about that beginning. Tell me about that beginning where you kind of believed, but you weren't sure. Tell me about that space because I think a lot of people are there. I think a lot of people have dreams that they can imagine, they can think, they can feel, but they're not sure. So take me to leaving that seminar and that conversation you're having with Star saying you can, you will, and you must. How did you navigate that real estate with yourself?
So that is a great question, Kev. I appreciate that. So I'm sitting in this audience, and look, I'm going through a hard time, right? I'm separated, and so half my income is gone. Think half the
Ouch.
household income is gone, and I am literally living on my credit cards, literally trying to figure out what is my next move. Now, I have done a bunch of things trying to figure it out, but I couldn't find anything that brought me joy. Plus, I was in that depressive state. This man, Les Brown, got on that stage and he just opened up a whole new door. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I took my little last bit of credit. Can I just say I took my little last bit of credit to pay
Yes.
for his course, right? Don't know how I'm gonna pay my mortgage, but I'm not suggesting this for anybody, but I paid for that course. It was in California. I had to use my airline points, right, to get there. I had to stay with a friend of a friend, and I rented a car from a company called Ugly Duckling. That should give you an idea, because I just had to be there. It's like something in me knew this was my moment. I don't recall the hesitation. I know that there was fear, but the calling was so strong that I
Yes.
just went forward and took that seminar with Les and basically told him, look, I want to work for you. I am an attorney. I've got your skills, yada, yada. I want to be on your team. And he said, okay, but here's the deal. He said, okay, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do jack.
So, Star, let me use one of my timeouts here. I've seen Les speak in small rooms and large rooms. I've seen him in a room of 100 recently. I've seen him in Felt Forum next to Madison Square Garden with thousands. How big was the room and how did you approach him to have that conversation?
So there must have been like 60 people in the room, 60, 70 people in the room. And one thing that Les does, or he did back in the day, he came around and met everyone, him and his entourage.
Ooh,
He came around and
ooh,
shaked everyone's hand, everyone's hand. He shook everyone's hand. And when he came by, I said, Les, I wrote you a letter. Told you I was an attorney and I wanted to work with you and blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, talk with me later. That's it. And he went on. And I'm thinking, he's not listening to me. He, you know what? He didn't even hear me. But as it was all over, and he was like, come on, let's talk. What?
wow.
What? And me and one of his associates went and we had the conversation. And I told him, I must have, I don't even know how, but I put on my best. Here's what I have to offer. I can be an asset, whatever it is that I said. He said, all right. And that was it. But here's what I had to do. That's what he said, but I had to make it happen. I had to make
Yes.
it happen. So it's not like he called me up and said, hey, talk to my secretary, she'll hook you up.
Oh,
No, he was like,
no,
okay,
no, no.
let's see. So maybe he wanted to see what I had. And I stalked this man. I stalked him
Yes,
wherever he
yes,
was that I could drive to. I went and I was of service. How can
yes.
I be of service? How can I help? He would invite me to events. I wouldn't sit down in the front like his entourage. I would,
No.
I would be in the back of the room watching him, watching the audience, watching him. I'm studying. I'm
Yes,
studying what this man is doing. And that's what it was. I was just, let me be of service. And then
yes,
about 6 months in, he lost his administrative assistant. Guess who got the job? Guess who got
yes.
the job? And let me tell you, we worked together for about 6 months, which was fabulous. I got to travel with him. I got to talk to him before speech and after speech and watch all the speeches. I mean, it was amazing, right? So it's 6 months a year, I'm working for him. And here's what we discovered, Kev. Les and I discovered that I am not a good admin assistant. That's that's what I've
Okay.
got skills, but those were not my
That's not
skills.
it. That's not it.
That was not it. However, I ended up transitioning to managing his speaker training program. That was my gift, right?
Say
I
that.
just had to get in order to
Yes.
find my place. And then so I ran his program for about 3 years.
That's an incredible experience because in doing that, I'm going to assume you met people just like you on the same journey that wanted to be there. They were experts in one thing, but maybe they weren't experts in presenting their story, helping people overcome the greatest fear, which is being on stage, speaking in public. Talk to me about that leadership role. What is the person like? Because this leads directly to where we're going. What is it like working with people in the speaker training that's trying to overcome that fear so they can tell that story, whether it's one-on-one, selling their product or service, or speaking on stage in front of people?
That was probably some of the greatest training that I had was being in that close proximity with the people who were struggling with their story and with the master of the story, right? Both here, and I'm seeing and I believe maybe it's my attorney mind. I don't know what it is, but I can look and synthesize. Now we say, hey, Chat GPT, analyze what that man just did. And Chat will tell us. Well, before Chat, I had the chat in my brain, right? So I'm watching what he does and I'm analyzing it. And then I was able to translate that to the other students. It's the same thing I did as an attorney. I'm going to take
Yes,
this complicated law and I'm going to translate it into
yes.
English so that you can understand it. And that is what I was able to do. But seeing the people who were, and I'm not going to say struggling, but en route to their
Mhm.
message, I just saw myself. I saw
Yes.
myself over and over and over again. And it has become my greatest joy to, and not to mold people, but to, here's what I do. And I've been called a gold digger
Okay.
fondly
Okay. I'm not
by my
mad at you. I'm
students
okay with that.
because I dig and I dig and I dig until I find the gold that is already inside of you. And then what I do is I hold up a mirror so you could see it. That's all I
Ooh,
do. And I go, look, did you see that right there?
yes,
It is my favorite thing to do because we all have the gold inside of us. It's just
yes.
that some of us have experienced what I like to call the backstory, and that backstory is holding them back. See, my backstory held me back for over 25 years. My
Wow.
backstory, the story that said, if you are successful, no one will love you.
Stay
That
right
was my
there. Stay,
story.
stay right there. I mean, that is so powerful. Say that again. If you are successful, no one will love you. Um, I think that's something I was going to say. Is that something that you find resonates with women? But I'm very confident that it resonates with men as well. We're all born into families that we don't choose, and we get into relationships, and there's sides of that that we can't choose. But that thing is there. Here I meet you, stay here. Star, I'll call you Star, but I don't mean you're shooting for the galaxy. How many people, not numerically, but conceptually, how many people do you think struggle with that concept right there? That their circle is, they're an eagle, but they're hanging around with seagulls.
I love it. I love it. A lot of people, and not they don't necessarily have my backstory, but they all have a story, right? These stories that were created in survival as we were children. Yeah, we all have different parents who did different things trying to help us, trying to love us, but some of it was, not so good. Or, there are the teachers, the one that says you know what, you're not very good at that. You know,
Yes,
you've never been good at making decisions. They put these stories on us and we take them, and the story becomes a habit. The habit becomes an identity
yes,
for many of us.
yes.
And what I found, Kevin, is in the work that I do. So I public speaking, presentation coach, communications expert, sure, that's what I do. But one of the main things that I have to work with people is identifying that backstory and rewriting it.
I
Because
love
I
it.
can I can give you all of the tips and tools that I want. You won't take advantage of them if that backstory is driving the bus.
I love it. I love it, Star. So many times we meet people and you may know them for years, and you see the gold in them. You've dug, you see where they could be. But every time you meet, they bring up the past. Star, I never brought it up, but I used to, and I was here and I was there. And sometimes you want to say, I understand, but I never met that person. The person that I met, and this is the way I see you. And how often does that happen where someone is telling you about an old person who they used to be, but you never met that person?
Man, so I had this one client, we're going to call him Gary. That is one client, Gary, who had gone through some hard times with alcohol and some things. Things happened. And whenever he would stand up to introduce himself, he would sort of go back to, I've been in the trenches, I fell down. He would go back to, that's how he would introduce himself every time. And I know that we had done work. We had worked together for 6 months or so. And I pretty much picked up the phone. The last time I heard him do it in public, I picked up the phone and said, Gary, I don't ever want to hear you
Yes, yes,
introduce yourself like that again. I
yes,
never want to hear it because that's who
yes,
you were 8 months ago. That's not who you are today. You are not
yes,
letting today's Gary breathe because you
yes,
keep holding on to yesterday's Gary.
yes,
So how often has that happened? Often.
yes.
I do that with people a lot. And that's what I mean with the gold digging. I really do have to dig in because we've got to let go of these backstories because these backstories are running our lives. They are making decisions for us based on
Yes.
what happened 25 years ago, not
Yes.
based on what's happening now. So, yeah, I do that a lot. Like I said, I got a little bit of a reputation for being firm.
Well, it's not coming across. Let's pivot a little bit, Star. Our common ground. we met because we're both certified AI consultants within the Alicia Little AI consulting program. More specifically, you came to my attention because you hosted one of the summits, and the same energy you are giving today, you gave to thousands on that call. And I'm like, oh my God, you are bringing it. But let's start. Tell me about your introduction to AI. What brought you into the world of AI?
Alicia Little brought me into the world of AI. I remember the first time I saw Alicia, it was at a TSP conference. She's up there doing things and things are happening. People are, ooh, I don't understand anything. I don't understand what she's talking about. Just no idea. I'm in the room. You know how sometimes I'm in the room, but I'm not in the room.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know what you're
yes.
talking about. But I was working as VP for a training company, and she came in as a guest. So she came in and taught us, about AI. And that's when it was like, holy moly, this is pretty
Hmm.
impressive. And then she
Hmm.
said she was going to have consultants. I was like, what? I'd like to be one of those. I'd like to
Yes,
be one of those. And that is my introduction. It was just her. I didn't know what it was, but a lot of people don't know that we've been using AI for 10 years, 15 years already.
yes.
We just didn't have access to it. We just didn't know it. But it's been a game changer. It's been a game changer.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Fast forward to today, and um, let me get the story right. Did you have your own stage training and coaching before you started AI, or did you do that after you started with AI?
No, no. My stage training and coaching was long before AI. Long before AI. I've been doing it for probably 18 years or so,
I
15
love it.
years since I left being an attorney and started my own business.
I
Yeah, that's
love it.
15 years ago, right? 2011, I believe, is when I was the last time I practiced law. So yeah, I was doing that first, but the AI just enhances what I do. It enhances what I do. I was working with a client just the other day. So I help my clients go from the beginning to the end. They go from clarifying what I call their map, their message, their audience, their purpose. Before you start thinking about what you want to talk about, let's just figure out your foundation. I work with them on their signature story, the story that I shared with you when I first got here. That is my
Yes,
signature story. I work with
yes.
them on their presentations, their webinars, their slides, la 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 la. I work with them on the close, on sales, because it's a
Ooh,
very important part of it. I work with them on how to, you know, command the stage. So I was working with my client yesterday. She brought up her webinar to me. Excellent. It looks great. And it looks great, but it is boring as all heck. Just boring as just no,
there's
and I have to.
nothing. If y'all don't know already, there is nothing boring about Star. Star held the command of thousands of people for several hours a day for 3 days in a row. And the level of energy that you brought throughout that day was amazing. Amazing. So I respect your feedback that you spared your student from putting people to sleep. How did we change that webinar around? How did we
Please
inject a
don't
little bit of
do it.
life into
Please
it?
don't put them to sleep. Well, we had already gone through. I pulled the information out of my students. We run it through chat to get some ideas, but then we refine it together in human. In human,
Yes.
we refine it together. So she did that. She came up with her slides. I just ran it through the AI. So I did two versions for her. I did Copilot because I train on Copilot. So let's give Copilot a chance, right? And I also did it with Claude, and I
Yes.
did it with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is so much better about it, and I like the one that I like, and I pull from the other ones the things that I like and put it together, and then I presented it to her. Honestly, I spent too much time on it. That I spent too much time on it, but I enjoy it so much.
And you
And
wanted
she
it to
was
be
blown
right.
away, of
You
course,
wanted
and
her
so
webinar to go well. You didn't want her to be Gary. You didn't want her to stand there and tell a backstory
absolutely.
for it not to go well.
Absolutely. But then when we got on our call, I'm like, look, this is what I've done, but I can't just do that, Kev. I can't just say, here's what I've done. There you go. I have to go, here's how I did it.
Yes.
I have to
Yes.
go, so here's what you will do next time. This
Yes.
is how we start. This is how, because it's not enough. And you know this, it's not enough for us to know. You have
Mhm.
to know because I won't be with you always.
No, no, no. And she has to own her stage, your company. She has to own her stage when she's on her webinar. You won't be whispering behind her, say this, like that. She has to get it. She has to know you did it. So I love your formula. I love what you did for her. Star, who is your ideal client? Who are you looking to work with? Let me ask that first. The second question keeps coming, but who is your ideal client?
So let me ask you a question, Kev. And this is a technical question because when my picture comes up, it's sort of grayed out. And
It looks
then
good here.
as long as it looks good there, doesn't matter. So I'm going to go back for a moment. One of the things you said is, no, I'm not going to be there whispering in your ear, but a lot of my clients say that I am there, just right here on
Yes.
the shoulder, whispering in their ear. But my ideal client is the expert. I work with mostly women. I work with men as well, but mostly
Mhm.
women. And it is the woman who has the expertise. She has the experience, right? She has the receipts. But when she speaks, her level of communication does not match her brilliance.
Yes.
This is my perfect avatar, and she knows that she wants to build her business. Now, some of the people who work with me, they call themselves speakers, want to be speakers. That's great. But 75% of the people who work with me do not call themselves speakers. They're not speakers. They're business owners. They're entrepreneurs. They're experts who just want to leverage the power of the voice, the power of the message, the power of their stage to grow their businesses.
I love it. I love it. So, Star, I'm going to say something on this podcast before I ask you. The next time y'all see Kev do a webinar, which will be in August, I haven't even decided the date myself. Star, I will ask you to be a guest. Let me tell you my story. When I'm not doing AI, I'm doing AI, all insurance. And there's so many of us that are insurance agents that we are experts in our field, men and women across the country, but many of us do not have our story mastered. We're not comfortable speaking the reels and videos, all the creators we have for social media. Instead of coming across with boom, and this is why I'm the person you should choose, it's coming across like collision coverage and comprehensive, and you're falling asleep before I can get to my third point. So I am going to tell you in advance that I'm going to invite you to bring this energy and give people the opportunity to work with you. So talk a little bit about your program, about how people get a chance to work with you, because some are going to be attracted to work with you before I even get there. How do people find you, and how do they get the opportunity to work with you and maybe overcome some of that fear, some of that backstory that I have a story to tell, but I know when it comes out, it's going to sound like hamana, 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 hamana. How do people get a
Love it.
chance to book a discovery call with you, see if there's some connectivity, and have the opportunity to work with you?
Thank you so much for that, Kev. And I'm looking forward to being on that webinar with you. It sounds exciting.
Love it.
Um, okay, so you can connect with me by going to connectwithstar.com. I like to keep it
Okay.
simple. Connectwithstar.com. And there you're going to see my website. You're going to see all of my social media handles, and you're going to see a place where you can jump on my calendar and let's have a conversation. Let's see where you are now, where it is you want to go, and maybe if I am a good fit for you to get to where you want to go. So that is how you connect with me. Connectwithstar.com. I work with people in a couple of ways. My signature program is Own Your Stage, because that's what you need to do. Um, My signature program is On My Stage, Own Your Stage. It is a 6-month program, and it's got various ways, modalities, let's say. First of all, we're going to have one-on-one coaching because I need to be in your face and I need
Yes.
to be the one to pull the things out of you, right? There are AI programs that are there, but they're not going to look at you and see where you're hiding.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Mm.
saw a little French right there. So we need the one-on-one coaching so I can dig and dig and dig and pull out the good stuff. There's also an online recorded version of the program because some of y'all need to look at it 7 times, and that's okay, but I don't want to
Mhm.
spend our one-on-one time doing that, right? So you have the entire program that teaches you exactly what it is you need to know and gets you prepared. And then we have my favorite, which is the group coaching. Benefits of the group coaching is you want to be able to say these things out loud in a small, safe environment before you say them out loud in front of other people. I was actually on a webinar recently with someone who's not a speaker per se, but they're an excellent businesswoman, and just all of the stumbling, all of the stumbling. Now, here's the deal. Most people won't notice it, but I
Yes.
noticed it, right? I
Yes.
noticed it. And I know that this is her first time saying it in front of an audience. We don't want that. So in
No.
our group session, this is where you practice. Next week,
Yes.
we're going to have one of our students practice her webinar in front of a family who loves you, who's going to
Yes.
clap for you so you can get
Yes.
the words out of your mouth. And that's what I believe. You've got to rehearse with your mouth. That is my signature program. And what people do, it's amazing to me when people start that program. Some of them are like, well, I've never spoken anywhere. But once you put out this intention and you start learning, opportunities start coming. And maybe the opportunities were always there, but you always said no because you didn't have the courage. Yes, but now
Yes.
you have the courage, you have the confidence. So when the opportunities comes, you say yes. And guess what? I am right there with you. I am right there with you. Whatever it is that you need to do, I'm going to help you so that you will be successful. That is my main program. But sometimes people come to me, Kevin, they don't want to spend 6 months with me. I'm not offended. Some people come to me, they say, Star, I've got a TED Talk coming up and I just want to polish it up. Excellent. We can do that. Or I want to do a webinar. I've never thought about it and I want some help. Or I've had this, I have a job interview coming up and I want to be able to wow them. So I teach them how to tell stories to
Wow.
boost
Yes. Yes.
themselves, right? Got a client come, I'm going to be on a radio show and
Yes.
I need some talking points, then we'll do that. So that's a smaller session with me. That's 12 weeks instead of 6 months. And it's called Extreme Message Makeover,
I,
the
I
home
I
edition.
love it. Storytelling is selling. So everything you're doing helps them get to their bottom line. Star, you have been an amazing guest. Before we land the plane, is there anything at all you'd like to share with the audience? Anything at all that you wanted to talk about, share that I didn't ask?
The only thing that I would share is that you have a message. You have a message. You might be thinking, and I say this all the time, why? Why should I bother? Why should I bother with my message? Why should I bother becoming a better speaker, a better communicator? Why? Because I'll tell you, there is someone who's waiting for your voice. When I was on that, when I was on that in that audience and Les Brown was there, all those amazing speakers were there. There were many speakers there, but the one that got me to pull out my credit card was
Yes.
Les Brown. He
Yes.
was the voice that I needed to hear. And there is someone out there somewhere right now who needs to hear your voice, someone who is on the floor of a bathroom right now
Mm.
praying for what you have. Someone is walking the streets late at night wishing for what you have. My question always is, how long are you gonna make them wait? You have an obligation and a responsibility to serve the people God has called you to serve in a way that pleases him.
Ladies and gentlemen, star, Babatoon, Esquire, performer, AI consultant, and coach extraordinaire. You see it right there. Connectwithstar.com and learn how to own your stage. This is the first time some of you are seeing it here from her in my audience, but you will see and hear from her again. That being said, we open with gratitude. We close with gratitude. Thank you, and you. Again, whether you're watching us live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or any other platform, thank you. You are appreciated. Always grateful for our sponsor, B-File Systems, and super thanks for those of you that have already clicked the subscribe and the notification button. And if you haven't and you want to know when this content is going to become available, click that subscribe and notification button right now. Until the next time we share time, stay blessed by the best. Take care.